Hello, welcome to our Tamburi Monday frame drum channel. Good evening here in Freiburg. We are very happy to have our last edition this year, and we will continue for sure next year. And for today we have a very special program, and with a guest from Istanbul. And I know some of you know her already, and we will like to welcome Tuğba Gülyeşil. Applause. Hi Tuğba.
Hi, dear Tamburi Monday team. I'm so happy to be here again. Thank you for your invitation.
Yes, thank you also for coming here. And so we are happy that you are here again once more. And today you brought some Turkish rhythms for us, and you will show us some rhythms and people can join. So I don't want to talk a lot, and afterwards we can also talk a little bit more. And for all of you, Tuğba is, by the way, you are living in Istanbul, and you are really a great singer and great drum player. So that's a quite new, let me say, her own way, her own style to play and sing. And so I'm very happy that because you are also very inside of the typical traditional cycles of Turkish classical music, the usul. And yes, we could talk a lot, but now you can start, Tuğba.
Thank you so much for your invitation again and your introducing. Yeah, as Murat said, I'm generally interested in traditional way of drumming, but I'm trying to combine both tradition and modernism. So today I will be talking about some traditional usuls and traditional way of playing them. Actually, dear friends, dear ones from all over the world, I'm hugging you all with my best wishes. Um, in the past time, for Turkish music learning, there used to be a meşk method. Maybe you have heard of it. Meşk method was being used to make the students, the learners, memorize and repeat Turkish music, classical Turkish music songs, maybe religious songs and non-religious songs, and some classical ones and folk music ones, does not matter. But the idea was, while they are making them memorizing, then they learn how to play the usuls as well. So today I will show how it starts. Body percussion, there are many ways of doing it, applying it, but for Turkish music, we use our body, especially our knees, to play the usuls. The idea was that, or is that, because it was a traditional way which was being applied in the past, but still you can witness these kind of masters and teachers like me. I am a teacher like that because I start with knees. The idea was, before taking the instrument on their hands, they used to learn the usuls technically perfect with playing them on their knees. By this way, they were memorizing the usuls and they were getting the instruments. Then it was too easy for them to find the usul on their instruments. So this is like a background for any percussion instruments. And now I am shortly going to talk about the idea of knees. Then I will try to show you how to apply them. Dear friends and dear ones from all over the world, we use our knees to drum, to play, because it is really similar to one of the oldest percussion instruments of Turkish music. Maybe you have heard of it. It is called kudum. You have two bowls and two wooden sticks, and on the bowls you have camel skin stretched. Then with your sticks you use dum, tek or tekka, so as to play the most basic instruments of percussion instruments of Turkish music. You use your knees to get the idea of playing that instrument. So now today I will do it like this so as you to see as well. My right knees and my left knee is here, okay? And for with my right hand, I will find the beat dum, and the left one I will find tek. This is the most basic way of playing. So I will start like that. Please just imagine the kudum like this, dum and tek, dum, tek, right kudum, left kudum, okay, our knees right left like kudum. Now I will show the simple ones shortly, then I will show you three longer usuls, great usuls as well. Dum, tek, dum, tek. It is like 1 2 1 2 1 2. Maybe we talked about it before, maybe you can remember. It is for Turkish music usuls, you have one basic version, and as a second version you have ornamentation part. So for main usul, this is for 2 counts, dum, tek, main one, and now I will show the ornamentation part. It is like dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke. You play dum with your right hand for your right knee, but for te, ke, you go with your right hand to left kudum, okay? Because you will make te, ke. They should be close to each other. When you leave tek alone, you put your left hand on left kudum or left knee. But when you are making it like te, ke, you should make them close to each other, so you get your right stick here, okay? Dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke, dum, te, ke. So this is the basic usul, most basic usul, Nim Sofyan, 2 counts. Now I will show you Sofyan. It is 4 counts, you remember. And for its main usul, we make it little slower like this. Düm, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Düm, tek, ka. Tak, tak. Düm, tek, ka. So same idea, just because tek is with ka, you take your right stick here close to left one on your left kudum, okay? So you remember many of them are familiar, many of you are familiar with Turkish music usul, so I will not talk about them really long, because I will go through bigger ones, great ones. But now I want to show you semai, which is waltz usul for Turkish music, semai, kalıp and velvele, which I mean main structure and ornamentation. Then I will talk about yürük semai, which is double semai, 6 counts. Then I will talk about düek and curcuna, which means aksak semai for main structure. Then I will go through the great ones of 3 usuls. Then we will show how it is played. Now, dear friends, I will show you semai, how I play semai, main structure for kudum. It is really similar to other one. Dum, tek, tek, dum, tek, tek. Waltz, dum, tek, tek. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Dum, tek, tek. Dum, tek, tek. Right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left, right, left, left. It's too simple, right? Because you use right, you use left. Now for ornamentation, for velvele, we will make it here, because our semai velvele is like dum, tek, tekke, dum, tek, tekke, dum, tek, tekke, dum, tek, tekke. Just we because we have teke here, before this teke we have tek. To make them closer, we will make it again with our left kudum. Düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke. Düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke. So semai is like that. Dear friends, now I will show you double semai, which is called yürük semai for Turkish music usul. It is like düm, tek, tek, düm, tek, düm, tek, tek, düm, tek, düm, tek, tek, düm, tek, düm, tek, tek, düm, tek. 1, 2, 3. So we are just waiting in the end. And dear friends, for ornamentation of this yürük semai, we make it like düm, tek, ka, düme, tek, ka. So dear friends, for me sound in kudum, while playing kudum or while drumming it on our knees, we use left one because it is generally like finding the velvele ornamentation here. For kudum it is like düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka. So now we will imagine it like that. Düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka. Same idea for tek, ka. Just like teke, we make them close in left kudum, okay? Düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka, düm, tek, ka, dümme, tek, ka. I hope it is clear, dear friends. I want you to learn the beats for kudum because for bigger ones, for longer ones, we will need the beats where we play. We will need to know them, okay? So now I will show you düek, which is 8 counts. Its main structure is like düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek. Düm tek tek, düm tek, düm tek tek, düm tek. So it is simple again because you don't have different ornamentation in the basic structure. But now we will make it like düm teke tek ka, düme düm hek teke düm teke tek ka, düme düm hek teke. So this hek sound is really important, this hek beats. Maybe you have heard of it, but sometimes it is played like tek, but actually hek beat is really important because you should emphasize where you see it, okay? Because this is, for especially longer usuls, bigger usuls, great usuls, you need to emphasize the hek sound. If you are on kudum, if you are playing the kudum, you need to play it like playing both sticks at the same time, right and left at the same time, hek, teke, tek, ka, like this, for example. If you are playing bendir, you can get the hek sound with düm because düm is the most emphasized one for bendir, for Turkish music. If you are in daire, which means the bendir with jingles, then you can make the jingles like this because you can hear the jingle sound emphasized for hex sound. So it means when you see hex sound, dear friends, it means you need to show the difference of it, okay? Hex is a special one, so I wanted to talk about it. Now I will show düek velvele again, and I will show 10 counts for the smaller usul. Then I will show 3 of our bigger usuls. Okay, for düek velvele, we will make it like düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke. So this is düek, one of the most famous usul of Turkish music, 8 counts. And now before curcuna, I would like to show 9 as well. It is really famous too. So just like going through curcuna, I will show aksak before it, okay? For aksak, especially I will show the ornamentation part because I want you to see how we play it here. It is like düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, hek, tek. It is like this because for düek it is like düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, teke. Now we will make this hek longer. Düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, tek, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, tek, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, tek, düm, teke, tekka, düme, düm, hek, tek. Now, dear friends, I will show you how to play 10 counts usul on kudüm or on our knees. So today our knees are like kudüm. And dear friends, I would like to tell you a famous saying of Turkish music masters. They say that if your trousers just wear out, you are good at playing these usul, you are good at learning them, because by drumming all the time on your knees, your trousers get older, okay? They should wear out, and your knees should little hurt, because when it's hurt, when you feel some pain on them, it means you are working a lot, so you are on the good way. Now, dear friend, I will show you 10 counts, then I will go on. This is curcuna. Düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek, düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek. Düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek, düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek. Now I want you to play düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek, düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek. Then I will sing a small song for you, but I want you to accompany with me, okay? Just play düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek, düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek. I can hear you. Great. Düm, tekka, düm, tek, tek. Last, I'm going. Batan gün kana benziyor, yaralı cana benziyor, esmerim vay vay. gönlüm. Ah ediyor bir gül için şu bülbül bana benziyor. Vay benim garip gönlüm. Düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya düm tek tek düm tek ya last. So dear friends, the idea of playing the usuls on our knees is that when you are singing a song, when you are learning a new classical song, you need to know it with its usul. So the usul is not known, not only it is not known by only by the ones who are just percussionists, who are drama, but it is need to be known by each students of Turkish music. So the idea is that you need to know the usul of the song before singing it. So they used to play on their knees, they used to sing like I did, and they used to memorize the usul. The thing that getting the instrument on their hand, now they are technically ready and they just try to leave the instrument, experience the instrument. The idea is that for Turkish classical music, meşk method. Okay, it is based on memorization and repetition. Now I will show 3 bigger usuls for you. I hope you are playing with me because these are bigger challenge. So I hope we will play it together now. I will start with 12 counts, which is called Frank Chin. And Frank Chin usul, you can see it, you can hear it in Mevlevi rituals, you know, whirling dervishes. By their steps of whirling ceremonies, we play Frank Chin for some part of Mevlevi ayins form. It is a form for Turkish music, and you can hear for second selam of it in Frank Chin usul. Now I will show the main structure first. It is like düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka düm düm düm düm tekka tekka tekka. So this is the main structure, basic one. So for the same usul we have an ornamentation which is called, you know, velvele for Turkish music. Now we will play it together. It is really full of ornamentations. I love this velvele. Düm düm teke tekka düm düm teke tekka düme düme teke teke düme düme teke teke tekka tekka. Ready? We will play it together again. Düm düm teke tekka düm düm teke tekka düme düme teke teke düme düme teke teke tekka tekka düm düm teke tekka düm düm teke tekka düme düme teke teke düme düme teke teke tekka tekka düm düm teke tekka düm Düm teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke. Düme düme teke teke. Tekka tekka düm. Düm teke tekka düm. Düm teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke. Düme düme teke teke. Tekka tekka düm. Düm teke tekka düm. Düm teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke. Düme düme teke teke. Tekka tekka düm. Düm teke tekka düm. Düm teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke. Düme düme teke teke. Tekka tekka. So this is our one of 12 counts usul. I choose this because this is used in Mevlevi ayins, as I said, one of the really most important forms of Turkish religious music. Mevlevi ayins, in the rituals, in the ceremonies of whirling dervishes, which is really long, completely, with pages, you have notation with pages. So I wanted to show this. And again, I have now Devri Revan. This was Frank Chin. 12 counts Frank Chin. Now we have Devri Revan in 14 counts. I will show basic structure and then ornamentation. Ready? Let's do it together. It is like düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. So we do 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 twice, but the emphasis is firstly düğüm düğüm te ek, then düğüm te ek te ek. Okay? Düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek. Düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek. So this is our idea 7/7, and velvele is really different from the usul main parts. So this is like düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka. Remember, dear friends, for me sound we use left kudum and left hand, okay? Düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka düğüm düğüm te ek düğüm te ek te ek düm tekka düme tekka düme düme tekka tekka. So dear friends, these kind of bigger usuls are generally used in their ornamentation form. I mean, just because they are used, of course, there are some classical songs as well, but they are generally used in some bigger forms of Turkish music. So they are just played in their ornamentation version. So düğüm tek, düğüm tek tek. You can play this as well, but generally we choose düm tekka, düğme tekka, düğme düğme tekka tekka. So I wanted to tell this because you can't hear that much often the basic version because it is too simple, just so as you to know how it emphasizes, but generally we use velvele. Now I am for the last bigger usul, for the last great usul of today, of course, I will mention devri kebir. I will mention about it because it is really important. It is used in peşrev form, and before Mevlevi ayins, before the parts with lyrics, you play peşrev according to the makam, according to the tunes of that ritual ayin, and it is without lyrics. It is instrumental and really big form of non-lyrics form. So you play devri kebir generally with them. Now I will show basic structure, but please be careful, dear friends. In the basic structure you have it like 2-2. It starts with the emphasis on 2 counts. But when you come to velvele ornamentation, it is like semai. Dum tek teke dum tek teke dum tek teke dum hek. So it means generally we use velvele because the velvele idea with 3, starting with 3, is generally fitting with peşrevs better. So I will show the main structure too, but velvele is more common, don't forget, dear ones. Okay, now let's play the kalıp, the main structure first together. It is, by the way, 28 counts, okay, dear friends, devri kebir usul. It is like this. Düğüm, düğüm, tek, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, tek, tek, düğüm, düğüm, ta, hek, teke, teke, düğüm, düğüm, tek, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, tek, tek, düğüm, düğüm, ta, hek, teke, teke. This ta sound before hek can be taken from here, okay? It can be played here, or you can play it here. Sometimes you can see both at the same time like hek, but I prefer this one because so as to emphasize hek sound, I take ta from here. Düğüm, düğüm, tek, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, tek, tek, düğüm, düğüm, ta, hek, teke, teke. So this teke, teke ending is a clue for you because it says that I am finishing. Okay, dear friends, when you hear teke, teke for devri kebir, it means it is finishing. It is the end of usul. Now, the most common version of it, ornamentation part, and just try to get it because it is easy to find the beginning. When you hear dum, tek, teke, dum, tek, teke, dum, tek, teke 3 times, it means you are in the beginning, okay? When you hear semai after teke, teke, it means it started again. Let's go. Dum, tek, teke, dum, tek, teke, dum, tek, teke, dum, hek, hek, hek, teke, tekka, düme, düme, teke, teke, düme, düme, tekka, last ka, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke, düm, hek, hek, hek, teke, tekka, düme, düme, teke, teke, düme, düme, tekka, tekka, düm, tek, teke, düm, tek, teke düm, tek teke düm. Hek, hek, hek, teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke, düme düme tekka. Tekka, düm, tek teke düm, tek teke düm, tek teke düm. Hek, hek, hek, teke tekka. Düme düme teke teke, düme düme tekka, tekka. So this is really famous one, dear friends, and really easy to memorize because it is really rhythmic with 3 and 2 focus. And this is what I wanted to tell today because I wanted to show you the idea of mesh method before the usage of notation system, because there was not the idea, or there was not the usage of notation at that time. And so learners of Turkish music had to memorize by repetition. And this is the idea of mesh method, mesh system of Turkish music, really common and famous method, traditional method, by repeating. For example, let's say for in Semai Usul, we have Dede Efendi's song, and it is like Yine bir gül nihal. For let's say a student learns this, she or he has to play it on her niece, and she has to sing at the same time like this: düm tek teke, düm tek teke, or main structure düm tek tek, düm tek tek, one main, one ornamentation, düm tek tek, düm tek teke, düm tek tek, düm tek teke. Yine bir gül nihal aldı bu gönlümü, simten gonca fem bir bedel. Like this, dear friends. So it is the idea of mesh method. You play it on your knees and you sing the song, and you have to learn the song with its usul. For example, let's say düek. Düm teke tekka, düme düm hek teke düm teke tekka, düme düm hek teke düm teke tekka, düme düm hek teke düm teke tekka, düme düm hek teke. Ahmet Nesimi subuhu dem tersem ki azar eşkünet. So this is the idea. It was in Persian, by the way. It was not in Turkish language, but one of the most important composers of Turkish music, religious music, Abdülkadir Meragi. It was in Rast tune and Düek usul. So these were the things, the ideas, the points that I wanted to talk today. I hope it was beneficial for you. I was really having great time while teaching, while showing actually. So hi Murat again.
Wow! David. Thank you very much, Tuğba.
I thank you so much. I really thank Tamburi Mundi team. It is great to be in Germany with you because you are one of the best rhythm academy that I have ever seen. So I wish you good luck and success all the time.
Yes, and you are now, you teach us something very special. I think not many people know this method, and I think it was for many people something very new. And also, by the way, if you would like to see that again, you can, for sure, you can join our channel and you will see Tuğba again. And because maybe it was too fast for you, especially the ornamentation, everything. So for sure, it's possible to see it again. And also you can contact Tuğba, because some of my students, or one of my students, she also traveled to Istanbul
Of course,
and to
yeah.
study with you. And so why not, if you have time? And I think they can contact you, Tuba. Is it
Yes.
possible?
Yes, and Murat is my master too because he's a great musician and master. So I'm so happy to be with him and with this perfect team. Of course, they can ask me anything, and this was an idea of the root of Turkish music, usul training. So I am honored to show this. I hope it was clear for each of them.
Yes, it was totally clear. Thank you. And yes, I don't know, if you want, you can sing a small, short song for us,
Of
because
course,
I know you have your frame drum with you, and
yes.
maybe we can share a music with you.
Of course, all the time it is near me, and best wishes from Turkey to Germany to everyone, okay? To all over the world, actually. Okay, let's see. Kevengin yollarında, Kövengin yollarında çimeydim göllerinde, çimeydim göllerinde. Hey anam hey. İlik düğme olaydı, İlik düğme olaydım, yarimin kollarında, o yarin kollarında. Hey anam hey. O yandan yandan yandan, yar yandan yandan yandan, severim seni candan, severim seni candan. Hey anam hey. 3 gün oldu severim, 5 gün oldu severim. Ne tez usandın benden, ne tez usandın benden. Hey anam hey.
Yo!
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
this
so much.
small concert, Tuba. And I'm sure we will see you again, maybe again in the channel, or maybe in a special workshop with you where we
I
can go
hope.
deeper with your beautiful voice, with this drumming and singing together. And hopefully maybe in summer, because we are planning, as you know, we have our festival in Freiburg in south of Germany. And we are trying to bring you to
I
Freiburg.
hope. I hope because I was there last year, last summer by heart, but now I want to be there with my body, with my hands, with my sound. So I hope I can.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye bye, Tuba.
Bye bye. I
And
will be watching. I will be watching you. Bye bye.
bye bye. See you later. Okay, so we will continue with some impulse ideas. See you. Yes, so after this beautiful performance of Tuba, we continue now with our impulse workshop. By the way, if you have any questions, so I think Tuba will join the channel, so you can chat with her or ask her special things, maybe about the Wikibir or about some more details. So just in case, I'm here in contact with my team here, and they can help you if you have any questions in the chat. Also now, if you have any specific questions that you want to ask me, you can just write and they can just forward me your questions. Yes, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about combination of different frame drums. You know, this is something many frame drummers already use it to combine different sounds, different pitches of drums, and also different tunings. And so I have a lot of instruments here around me. So, and I prepared, you can see here these two drums. Then I have one single drum and one more here that I already prepared. You can see. Yeah, so so wow. Yeah, so I wanted to start maybe with that one here. As you can see, that is a quite large frame drum. It's 60 centimeters. And here, what you see here is something you can put on the drum. Like you can see, this is like a dragon mouth. And you put here, you can fix it by turning. So why I do this, I will just explain you why. Because this is something you can put on a stand, on a special, you can say it's a frame drum stand, or you can use any stand what you want. I just make it a little more clear here for you. So here you can put it here inside and just fix it here. Then you have a kind of a table, right? So then you can fix. And here you have that table drum. And it's not the first time that I show this, but I wanted to show you again the combination, the possibilities, and also some exercises that you can practice at home. So here I use this very often for the left hand, and I can play steady groove. So my right hand is free, and here on this side I have a drum that I can put between my legs, right? So you can start with this simple exercises. So left hand is always doing a taka taka taka takedi takedi takedi takedi 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 taka taka taka taka taka taka ta ta ta exercise. You can also practice on the knees, like you saw with Tuğba, practicing like body percussion. Ta. Yes, and ta ta ta ta ta ta ta dum, ta. And I think you understand. So this is 3 against 2. Oh, maybe you heard of it. I'm sure you know it. So that's the first basic ideas. Here also sometimes I use a mallet, a very soft one. You can see here. So you can achieve a kind of timpani sound. Then you can start to make some variations with the right hand, right? Here also you can change. Yes, so now I will continue with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, and then you can start to make phrases like 3, 1, 2, 3. So dum pa pa and ta ta ta ta ta ta ta ta ta ta ta. Some ideas for independent playing, but this is not the main focus today, because this is quite a big topic and we can go deep inside, but just wanted to combine the sounds. Here I have some rings. This instrument is a doira, originally from Central Asia. You can find it in countries like Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and so on. And also in the Uyghur music you can find it. And I use it sometimes just playing this nice sound of the rings. At the same time, unison. Yes, so it gives another color and makes the whole rhythm much stronger. Yeah, so that's one combination here. And of course, another option is to have tunable instruments, because they are tunable. Here I can show it to you again. Here you can see the tuning system, and here I have a hang drum, so I will try to tune it on a D. So it should be a little bit higher. And sometimes I just control the intonation. You can hear the drum singing, right? Or also like this. It might be a little higher. So then I have another drum here. Right, so we have two different sounds. So the one is again here, fixed on the table. And that one, by the way, I think I already showed you this. That's a small tool here. Yes, you can adjust it here, the two drums, fix them here. Then you have two drums in one drum, let me say, or you can play them together. I use this very often, so this is a kind of, I can play it in that way, right? So here the drum is between my legs, like I play a cello. So the advantage here is that my hands, they are completely free because this drum is fixed here. And right, so in that way I can really play also in free hand position with two hands. And you don't use the sound quality because it is more or less only fixed here at one point, right? So it is not in contact with your body or with your hand. So the sound is much longer. Also here you can maybe see my hand. So you can also play from inside. So I don't know if you can see it, I make strokes like this. Right, so that's the advantage, or let me say, of this position. Of course, you can use the regular, if you have the feeling you want to feel the drum on your body or on your leg, or you want to play like this, that's also possible. And here we have the high pitch one, so I choose one bendir, right? This bendir with the snares inside, and so I have that different sounds here. So here I'm completely free. I don't have to hold the drum. I can change the position, or I can, while I play, for example, I can change from brush it to my fingers and everything, and go backwards. And I can also play it that way. So now the bigger one is between my legs, or even you can put it on the floor. So here even it's much more comfortable. Both hands are free. You can use the other hand between playing with two drums separately, right? So here is the groove, the ostinato groove, and here is the solo drum, haha, and go back to one drum, and even to use the third one, that one here. Maybe I can show you here. Okay. And so on. So this is the one option. The other is between your legs, so the drum is a little higher, and it depends on the techniques or on the style you want to do. If you want, even can play more in that position, right? So you can just make the angle little like this. Here you have the advantage to use dooms with every hand, so with the right and with the left. So that gives you the freedom to play more hand-to-hand combinations and to use different concepts of playing than the traditional, let me say, the traditional frame drum rhythmical structures or concepts. And of course you can combine it. That doesn't mean that you only have to play that one or that one. You can, as I said, you can change the position. So now the drum is more in the front, right? Also here my foot is inside the drum here, and the whole drum is free. Also maybe I need some more space because the drums are so big. You can use them also like oops, like bongos, right? So they are on my knees. I'm inside. So for this, it's important that the drums should be a little deeper, right? Otherwise, you the knee is directly on the skin, and then the drum is immediately muffled. So also this is I think that's enough. That one here. So if they are thinner, it might be a problem for the sound, right? So. So that is another feeling of playing. As I said, I used to play also bongos, and I like bongos, but for transporting in the train and for traveling, I prefer more frame drums because they are like this, like this, like this. So you can, I think in one bag I have sometimes 8 or 9 frame drums. So the bag is like this, and smaller ones, bigger ones, and with that one here, as I said, you can just fix it. And the advantage here is you don't need any stands. You can combine smaller frame drums and use them in a different way, use them like bongos, as I said. Also, you can play the left hand, for example, if you have the feeling this is too much resonance. I play very often muffled. You can see here with this part of my arm, I'm here, with the palm here of my hand. Compare the open one. Sound and then dampen the sound, so you can change between the two options. Yeah, so that's more or less the bongo frame drums. And yeah, so you can try at home, see what kind of instruments you have. If you have so the easiest is one is bigger, the other is smaller. This is the I think the most simple idea. And yes, I usually take one of them, use it like a bendir, then I have the idea of the snare sound also. Yeah, but you don't have to, it's just an option. Also can be jingle one. Sometimes I use jingled drums, then you always have a jingle sound. What else? Yes, so here sometimes I use this sidewise. So here you can see that drum is on the floor and I play. This is another way of playing. So here again, if I have another drum, just the idea of holding the drum, and that's also very practical for split hand technique, because here you have only one hand. Right, so you can that way. Of course, you can do it also here, but sometimes I feel more comfortable in that way. I have more better feeling because I can press more. Also with this technique, maybe you know also this turning technique that is very old technique from the Boran players. They used to use also the thumb and then the stick, and so I learned that also from Glenn, this technique of moving the hands. Yeah, so that's very practical if you have only one hand to play. And here, as I said, you are free. You can go to the splash jingles and play on the drum. Use the other drum here, the deep one, and then also you can. Change between the, like before, the idea combining the ostinato drum with the solo drum and then playing only one drum. I mean, this is not the most comfortable way to play, like, but for like half a minute, it's no problem. Or just for some bars, you can turn, and also you can, while you play, change the position also. Yes, another option is you have a bigger drum like this. By the way, these drums here, that one was from Schlagwerk, that is on the table. Not on the table, that looks like a table drum on the stand. And these, that's also from Schlagwerk. And these are from Jacek Zelazek. He will join our channel in a few minutes, just to remind you. So here also I have the combination of these different drums. 1, 2, 3. So here I can. So here we have two sides, right and left, playing in that way. So here I was very inspired by my friend, by my colleague, and by the big master, Mr. Kim from Chu Hong Kim from Seoul, from Korea. We had some projects together. He was here as an artist in residence. We rehearsed many days. I think 3 weeks he was here. We performed, had a nice program. We toured in Oman, in the opera house, and also in Seoul. And I was so impressed by these chango drums. Maybe you know them, and they are played in that way. Oof. And always when I watched him, I was, wow, that was another energy to play with two hands, of course. But the movement came from right and from left, like a bird, right? That was very impressive for me. I mean, I played like this. It's also, I mean, I like this also because you play directly to your body, to your heart, especially the sound it comes to you. But somehow I like this movement. It was more the movement that impressed me. I mean, I was impressed by his play because he's a big master. But I mean, the instrument was especially as I said, the movement, and I was thinking, okay, somehow, and I tried to find out a possibility, and so that is one way I have a feeling of a different movement, different energy. Also for the balance, I have the feeling because when I always play like this in that position, doesn't matter if it's smaller or bigger. So it's always one kind of movement or one kind of position. And the other, of course, you can say you can play freehand style, so it's between your legs, so there is more balance between right and left. And the other is upright position. But here, everything, the movement is in towards your person. And so for me, I had the feeling I need to complete more my movements, also the rotation of my arms, and so that was one thing that, as I said, the important key, the movement and how to with the movement, the sound, and yes. So I could just change the position. Sometimes I also, yes, by the way, I can also use some rods. I have it here, and yeah, so I combine with a small set of symbols. Sometimes I have a right symbol also here. Okay, another option is to combine, for example, oh la la. So we did the tuning before. I'm not sure if the tuning is still the same. Yeah, it's the same more or less. So here you can quite comfortable with my table frame drum, so I can put my arms here. Right, so quite relaxed. And I can also, as I did before, will muffle the sound. It's here. Or I can dum, dum, da, dum. So more open sound, create different rooms, and especially with frame drums, they are beautiful with their resonance, long notes. I love this. I always every time I say the same. You have to play the contrast of long and short sounds to create rooms, big space, small space, create imaginations like you are on a high mountain, you have space, you breathe, you have another energy, and make short in a small space. And so that's a way, because you are more flexible with the hand, and you can hear with the timpani sound. Also, you have different points where you can use the timpani sticks. Yeah, so you have to explore your own drums. Yeah, so that's a small introduction in a way playing with combinations of frame drums with a hybrid, you can say, and different different positions, and as I said, from the side with different techniques. And so this opened, as I said, a lot my way of playing, especially here. I had the feeling I can breathe totally different again. And so I think for me, the combination is the beauty, right? From the classical style, let me say, and to that one from both sides, or also turning. And so I don't see the drum in one position. It's more flexible. And yeah, so that's for today. If you have any questions, I don't know if there is a question in the chat. No, there is no question. Okay, so thank you, and we will continue with our program with the instrument builder with Jacek Zelazek. See you. Göründü mü?
Yok yok.
Ben konuşuyorum o zaman. Hello, hello. 1, 2, 1, 2, sound check. Yes, we continue our program. With this is a special program for networking where we invite different people. And today we have a guest, instrument maker. But before we talk with him, we have one more guest, just a small interview with Lukas Eignesberger. Hello, Lukas. Can you hear me?
Hi guys,
Hi.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks also for coming. So, Lukas, you live in Austria, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm from Austria and I'm one of the co-planners of the Colors of Percussion Festival in Upper Austria. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit about today.
Yes, you know that Tamburi Mundi and Colors of Percussion, we have a long history that we started more or less at the same time. And
Yeah,
Markus Lindler, he was here in Freiburg at Tamburi Mundi, and there was always a collaboration. And then I was so happy that Colors of Percussion you are doing an amazing program since many years. I think it's
thank you.
important because there are less percussion festivals.
Yeah,
I mean, percussion in the sense of world music, world percussion, not classical percussion. So I'm talking about that what you are doing, and you are one of the members. That's great to have you here.
yeah, thanks again.
And so we don't want to talk about the whole program because
Sure.
another time you can come again. But today, especially today, we wanted to point out something. Maybe you can explain about what we would like to talk.
Sure. So for those who don't know the festival, it's great. It's really great. It's 3 days, and in these 3 days we have numerous percussionists from all over the world. But what I really want to talk about today is that in the upcoming year, we are doing the Colors of Percussion Award, which is going to be an international contest, especially for young percussionists. You have the chance, yeah, there it is. If you are participating, you have the chance to present yourself, to show yourself and market yourself. And of course, because it's a contest, you can win something. So before I'm going to talk about how to participate, let me tell you what you can win. So the first place will win 1,111 euros. The second place will win 777 euros, and the third place will win 555 euros. But there's still more. There's going to be an audience award, and there's going to be some material prizes which music companies will provide. So not only the best three will win something. And in my mind, that's really, really awesome. So if you're interested, this is how you can participate. We have 2 different age groups. The first group will be until the age of 18, and the second group will be from the age of 19 until the age of 25. And you can choose if you want to come solo or in a duo. And if you're coming in a duo, you can choose any instrumentalist or vocalist or dancer or electronics, free of your choice. So it's awesome. And if you have chosen everything and want to participate, we are going to have 2 rounds. There's going to be a pre-judging round where you have to upload a YouTube video of yourself playing. Then you send us the link, and there will be a jury who judges your performance. And based off all the performances, the best 8 of each age group will have the chance to play the live finale at the festival in front of an audience and the jury, which right now consists of Stefan Maas, Ismael Barrios, Pete Lockett, and Soha Fresco. And there's gonna be 2 to 3 more people to come. So yeah, Because I don't want to take too much of your time, you can gather all the details and informations on the Colors of Percussion website.
Yes, and because it's worth to take the time and to read the website, and also you can see in the archive what happened the last years. And so why we invited you here is, of course, also that could be interesting for any frame drum players among you, because it's a World Percussion Award, I think. Is it correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
And I think that's something very unique. And so you are all invited, really, even if you are older than this, maybe you know some people who are younger than you. And so I think that's a good experience. And especially in these times, I think that is a good, yes, good aim, let me say, for working for something. When will it, it will be in May, I think, right?
Yeah, from I think the 20 to 23rd. Embarrassing, I have to check my
Okay, no problem.
my planner.
You can see on the website, you can see. And by the way, in the YouTube channel, we also
Thank
made
you.
the website. And yeah, so Lucas, if you want, you can stay in our channel, in our YouTube channel, the next 5 minutes, maybe if you want, maybe people can ask you something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Great. So thank you, and maybe I will join the festival just to be there. I don't know.
It would be great.
See. And so good luck with the festival
Thanks.
organization, and hopefully it will be a very great festival. All the best, Lucas, from here. Bye bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye bye.
Bye. Yes, so don't forget Colors of Percussion Festival, Colors of Percussion Awards. And now we would like to invite Jacek Zelazek. Hi, Jacek. He's coming. Hi.
Oh, hello.
How are you, Jacek?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Thank you, also fine. Nice to see you here and at Tamburi Monday, sorry.
Yes.
You are at home or where are you?
Actually, I am in my workshop and also in my home because at the moment I live in my workshop.
You live in the best place to live.
Yes. Not very far distance from work to home.
Yes. So I already played on your instruments, by the way, because I show the people that drum already, and because I made some impulse workshops and I use your instruments, and so you are working in Poland.
Yes.
And so I know you are specialized since many years on ethnic percussion, on djembe, on conga. You built many different instruments, and some years ago you also started with shamanic drums, with frame drums also. For this reason, we wanted to introduce your work. I mean, many people already know you who play frame drums, so you are not a unknown person. But I think it's good to have you here. Maybe they can ask you and to get some news from you, what you are doing actually, and what you're preparing. What is your new plans, your ideas?
Well,
Yeah.
yes. So should I say something now, or just we will show the video?
We can watch the video, right? And so you prepared several videos, short
Yes.
videos, right? So Uli, she made one video,
Yeah.
and so our idea, because the video is quite long, now. It's our idea is we would like to show a few minutes, not the whole, but we will upload it on our Frame Drum channel, and people can watch afterwards if they would like to watch. And we will also show it here in the YouTube channel at the end of our channel, if it's okay for you.
Yes, okay, it's absolutely great.
Great.
I was thinking that many people want to know how to change the skin on the drum, on the frame drum. So I think it's not very easy to find this in the internet. So yes, the video is long, but actually it was much longer. I should have to cut it because it's like a 1 hour, yes, to show whole process of putting the skin.
And I think this is very interesting, and so it would be a pity if you cannot watch the whole film. So our idea was really,
Yes.
and take your time, and that maybe we can use the time talking a little bit more in live also. But maybe we can start with a video.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, first, when we want to remove the skin, it's good to mark the place like this. Yes, we mark the place and cut it, and then we start cutting the skin. It could be inside. We do it slowly. You must be careful. Like this. We cut here and try to pull. Yes. Sometimes the glue is stronger, sometimes it is not. If the glue is strong, you must use the hot water. So you take the water, put something to the water, like shirt, and you must do like this with the water, yes? After we remove the skin, we must clean this rest of skin and glue. If it is fish glue, like I use, it can be removed by hot water. So you take a shirt and hot water, and you start to remove it. So before we start putting on the skin, we must first set the screw in a right position. What I do is to set the screw like here, 4 millimeters up. So you see, like I told you before, you must mark in the beginning of this process, you must mark by the tape here. So this is the mark, and then you must observe this place, yes, because here you have the nails, yes, here, and the screw should be should be in this position. So after you have all screw in direct position, so each screw is in the place where the nails is in the rim, you take the tape and fix it like this. Yes, you must be careful not to move the rim. You can practice a little bit. So this will be necessary when we will put the skin on. Yes. Next thing what we will need is tape like this, metal tape. If you cannot buy a tape like this, you can also buy two smaller tapes, you see, here and here, and join it. If it's bigger drum, you can buy three small tapes and join it. You can buy it in Obi or similar shop. So you take this tape and you put on the rim. Can you show here the place? It should be not so stretched, because we must have the space for the skin. Yes. Okay. And we take the skin from the water. Yes. And find the hair side and inside. Generally, it's hard to explain how it looks, the hair side and inside skin, but the easy way is to take the old skin you have and find a difference between the hair side when we play and the inside. So, like I said, it's not easy to explain how to find the right position, but for example, if you buy a skin, you can ask the seller to write you which side is hair side. So you take this skin and you put the hair side down. Yes. So here is the inside and here is the hair side of the skin. And you dry it a little bit, because we don't want to have too much water on the frame. Okay, so here we have the skin, wet skin, and now we take the glue. I use fish glue. You can buy it also in internet. Tighty Bond Genuine Hide glue. It's good glue, and you need a pencil or brush. So, one more thing you must do. You must use a tape in here. Yes. It's the protection. It's not necessary, but I don't want to have too much glue on the frame. That's why I will use this tape to just to have a cleaner frame. Yes. Please show this place. It shouldn't be the tape shouldn't be here. Yes, because when we will use the rope to glue the skin, this shouldn't be under the rope or under the skin. So this is the best situation. You can see here is some wood and the tape. This is also good. And then we take the glue and we put the glue to this place. Yeah, it's hard to say how much this glue should be. Not too much and not too less. So you see, I put the glue to all frame, not one by one, but to all frame. And then you use brush to put the glue everywhere. Okay, glue is everywhere now. We take the skin and we find a backbone place. Yes, generally it's on the middle of the skin. So now we put the skin on the drum like this. So you see the hair side is up. Yes, this skin is a little too big for this drum, but I wanted to use this skin. Generally you can cut it before you put. Now see. So here I have some nice shape, that's why I want to have it. Okay. So now you take the metal tape and put on the rim.
Yes. Very nice. Very interesting.
Here is the drum.
Here is a drum.
Yes.
Very nice. Yeah, and as we said, you can watch the whole film. I think that's very, all the small details, I think, especially are the most important thing. I mean, in general, I know, okay, somehow, but these small details are so interesting. Thank you, Jacek,
Yes, you're
for,
welcome.
for giving us all your secrets, let me tell you. And so, yes, uh, when I was in your atelier, in your workshop, I was already flashed from everything. And now you moved from there to somewhere else. So
Yes.
can you describe us what will happen now with this new workshop? What is the difference and what is your, for the future, what will change or what is your idea?
Yes, generally I moved to the other place because the place where you were was too small for making drums, and it was hard to organize everything like I wanted to have it. Yes, so in the right order. So now I am focused on actually on cleaning this new workshop because we built it in this summer, and also there is a new house, so it's lots of work, physical work or the builder work. But yes, what is for me as a drum builder most important for next year is to set some procedure to, for example, sending a drums, to taking orders. Uh, yes, because sometimes people are waiting like 3 months or something like this. So I would like to be more in time, yes, more in time and better organized. That's why. And when I have a bigger atelier, like you see, for example, like you saw on this video, when you have drum here, when you want to put the skin, you must have the skin close to you, not to searching where is the skin, where is water. So it's important to have atelier with water, with lot of places to just to put the drum and leave it for next 2 days, not to make new place everything every in every drum, not to start from the beginning with the setting the place. So yes, this is my most idea for next months actually.
I think that's a good way, let me say, more professional, maybe
Yeah.
in organization, because I think, I mean, your instruments, they are really on a high, one of the highest level, let me say. They are so professional, but I know instrument builder is not only doing good instruments or doing super instruments, it's also organizing himself,
Yes.
organizing. That's like musicians, like frame drum players.
Yes.
Good to play good. It's everything. The rest is also very good. So
Yes.
and maybe also, do you have new models or new ideas of instruments? Just a question.
Actually, no. I want to focus on improve. For example, like the situation with changing the skin. Yes, this is for me. It's very important to show people how they can change the skin because after COVID, for example, in this new time of COVID, it is quite complicated. For example, to send drum from United States or Israel to Poland to change the skin, or all countries outside the Europe, because when you're sending the drum from Israel or United States, you are waiting 1 month or sometimes 2 months, and this custom procedure is complicated. So I wanted to show this video and perhaps more like manual, yes, because the small details are very important, yes, because when you do it once or twice, you should really analyze step by step, not to destroy your instrument. Yes, and sometimes I think, and it's not very difficult. It's not very difficult. Not like your like your exercise. This is very difficult. It's easier. Yes, yes, it's easier. But the small details are very important. Yes, yes, it is. It is important. Like how many meters you should leave the screw or something like this. Yes. So yes, for me it's important to share this knowledge. It's not a secret.
Yeah, no, it's that is let me say you are really open and you are working for not only for you or you are working for the customer and you are working with the customer. So how can the customer or the drummer can be happy? So you take care of him. So that's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yes.
And there is a question, Jacek. May we ask you a question?
Okay.
So the question is, what kind of skins do you use?
Well, the different the goat, calf, fish for rigs, also deers. Yes, the wild pigs. It's not this word, but also wild pigs. Yes, for bigger drums. Cow. It depends what the people need, yes, or what sound do you prefer. For smaller drum like this, it was calf skin, and for bigger, it's usually a goat skin or deer skin, but I prefer goat.
Okay, yes, thank you. Any other questions? At the moment, no questions. Okay. Yeah, and so you have a website or people can order instruments, listen to them.
Yeah. Yes, yes, I have website. It's well, the better is to write www.bebnyjacka.pl.
I think
Yes.
they copied already in the YouTube channel.
Oh
They
yes, yes. It's easier.
great.
Yes,
And
yes. So people, you can write me, ask, and then we email. Yes, it's for me the best is to email because when I start making drum, I read the email, and if I have question, I write to people and ask what they need. Because also people want to sometimes don't know how thick the skin should be, all the drum, and when you choose the thickness of the skin, it makes different sound. For example, yes, on the same frame, different skins gives different sound, and also the same skin will give the different sound on different frames. So, for example, on one frame, also the same size, yes? On one frame, the skin could be good, and on the other, not good, and opposite, yes? So,
oh, that's experience. I think you made the many years try out and a lot of work, a lot of experience. So if we do, fortunate, hopefully, maybe in summer, maybe I don't know, with the Tamburi Mundi in Freiburg, you think you can join us? You would like to join us again?
oh, yes, for sure.
Okay, so we are waiting for good news, and hopefully you can manage, and hopefully we will see you again because that's the best place also to be in your workshop in Poland or in Freiburg to try out the instruments, to talk with you, and then choose your instruments. That's, I think, very good opportunity.
Yeah. Yes, and I hope you will come to Poland again, yes? Now I have bigger place for also for drumming workshop because here we are on the first floor and up there is a big place like for 20 people without a problem. So our next workshop with you, I hope, will be here. So then we can do some also some work with the drums, like to show directly, not by a channel.
Yes.
Yes, so I hope soon.
I hope also. Yes, I'm looking forward, Jacek. So you want to say something? Um,
Well, I'm glad to meet you, yes, and happy to be in the Tamburi Mundi. And really, I'm waiting for Tamburi Mundi in Freiburg. I hope this year or next year, yes. I mean, this summer or next summer, yes.
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So Jacek, all the best. Have a good New Year, and say hello to your wife and to
She's there.
also. And yes, thank you for joining us. And
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thank you, Jacek.
Yes,
Bye
see you.
bye.
Bye bye. It is
So
you.
now we will continue with Pete Lockett in 1 minute. See you. Lockett. Hello.
How are you?
Whoa.
How's life?
Great, great. That was amazing. Welcome. Wow.
Thanks for having me on. It's great to be great. I've been enjoying the rest of the show on YouTube. So congratulations. It's an amazing presentation.
Oh, thank you. You already watched the
I couldn't see how you had that. You had the big frame drum and the little frame drum, but I couldn't see how you were when you were playing it bongo style. I couldn't see how you were. Was it just resting on the floor?
Oh, it was on my so that was on my knees, more or less. I can show.
Oh, okay. What, the inside resting on your knees?
So here. So
Oh, very cool.
here
Great.
it's on my knee, right? And,
Great. Sounds brilliant. Really very cool.
on my leg. So it's
Yeah.
so my knee is not touching the skin. So the drum is lying
Yeah.
more or less on my leg. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So we started with a small introduction, musical introduction. Later we will see, watch also the rest of the video. What we wanted to make a little teaser to present.
Fine. All good.
And so you in the COP award. I don't know if you were here when Jacek was talking.
I was indeed. Yeah. I'm very excited. Yeah.
And you will be in the jury.
Exactly.
Yes. Great.
Yeah. Coincidence. Very small world.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are today our special guest. So you are 2 times here. So in the first part, you will talk a little bit about composition in general, about concepts and everything. So it's your part. And also, I think maybe there will be some questions from the YouTube. So we will forward you the question at the end of your program. And then after this, we will have a talk about how you started. I mean, we can talk hours, I think. So we had some
Absolutely. Yeah.
make it shorter. But at least because that's so interesting, I think, for many people, how people start drumming and it's craziness and everything. But also your actual projects, of course. This is, I think, also what is interesting, and there are many interesting things I know. Yeah, so I would say, Pete, you can start.
Perfect. Fantastic. Well, I mean, one of the first things I often get asked in, events or clinics or masterclasses and stuff like that is, and I myself kind of felt exactly the same. When I started looking into, the classical music of North and South India, is that when you're hearing a lot of the rhythm work that happens, it's compositionally very complex. So straight out of the box, it's really complicated material. But when you look at it in context and you think of it, how long, how many centuries and centuries that it's been developed and honed down and, polished. And, it's like, I very much think that it's, a good way to begin to understand it is, first of all, to conceptualize that, is that you're looking at something that hasn't been crafted over, even a couple of 100 years. We're talking, thousands and thousands of years. The first recollection or the first record of vocal recitation and clapping time cycles, for example, is something like 300 BC. So it's an amazingly ancient system that has developed, musically and intellectually over a very long period of time. So, in a way, to take that on board and to have that as a reference point, and then also to think about it as a language. So if you look at, I speak English. So if I went and learned Chinese, I would look at the complexity of Chinese, straight out of the box of what people, would be saying. And it would seem absolutely, you know, amazingly complex and completely full on, which of course it is, you know, the different, all languages, whatever new language you start. So I kind of think of it like a language. And with that in mind, you know, there's kind of two ways you can go when you're kind of looking at material like this and then using that as a source for composition. On the one side of the coin, you could take material literally and, you know, just transcribe it, or you learn chunks of material and that becomes your basis for your compositional references and all that, you know, different things that you're going to do with that rhythm material. And the other side of the coin, and one of the things that I think is very useful in teaching, is to be able to boil it down almost like, you know, like you would with a language. And, you know, you think about, you know, when we were all, you know, children in school, and you learn the alphabet. You know, you've got the alphabet, and then you know, you string words together, and then sentences and paragraphs, and all that time you're kind of, you know, adding meaning to all of these things, all of these utterances that you're, you know, coming out of your mouth. And so for me, educationally, it's really good when talking about composition to be able to boil it down to the simplest, you know, simplest starting point. And for me, then build a basic alphabet from that, and then rebuild the rhythm structures from the idea compositionally out, rather than the idea of literal use of material, where you're you know, you're just taking stuff and playing it at, you know, exactly as it is. Here you're kind of getting inside a language in the very, you know, simplest way, and building out towards your own creative compositional, you know, output. Now, of course, if you want to be a traditional South or North Indian player, or whatever, you know, music you play, then of course you're going to have to go deeply into that tradition and learn a lot of the stuff in very specific ways like that. But in terms of, you know, for me, what I see with a lot of contemporary percussionists around the world, who are well, musicians around the world generally, but contemporary percussionists, obviously my area, is that they're seeing everything. They're seeing Indian, they're seeing, you know, Middle Eastern, they're seeing, you know, Cuban, and all these different things, and they're kind of wanting to, you know, compose and develop some of those skills. Now, of course, you've got to properly get inside the material to get along that path. But for me, one of the simplest starting point is just to boil it down to, you know, a basic alphabet. So create a basic alphabet. So what I like to do is to have like a core unit or a core rhythmic idea that I'll put together. You know, maybe it's based on something, you know, Indian or whatever, but a basic core unit. So we're gonna start with a basic core unit, and it's like the super simple starting point. I mean, you were playing a 3-beat rhythm earlier on the frame drums. So we're going to have like a simple unit that we're going to put a linear vocalization to. So linear vocalization means that it's not, you know, voiced on across different voices on the drum. It's merely a one line, almost like a framework. So we're going to have a group of 3, and it's takita. So takita, takita, takita, ta, ki, ta, ta, ki, ta. So that's our basic unit. So we've got a basic unit, linear vocalization. At the moment, it's not quarter notes or eighth notes or triplets or anything. It's merely a building block, a unit of three syllables. From that point, we would want to add a hand pattern to it, or, you know, if it was drum set or snare drum, we'd say we want to add a sticking to it. So it could be right, left, left. It could be right, left, right. It could be right, left, left, right, right, left. There's loads of different, you know, 3-beat stickings or hand combinations if we play all of the three notes. So we've got the rhythmic idea, the syllables with the linear vocalization. Now we've got a hand pattern, right, left, left, or right, right, left, right, left, right. And then from that point, we would orchestrate it with the tones on the drum. So for frame drums, you know, it could be dum tack tack, it could be dum dum tack, any which way. You know, you as the creator with this basic rhythmic unit that can be anything, you know, you then have a what I call a melodic vocalization. So the linear vocalization is just tackita, but the melodic vocalization is what I mean by distributed across, you know, tones on the drum. Like, for example, with tabla, of course, we have the North Indian set of drums. There are many syllables for the different strokes on the drums, and they put, you know, complex vocal patterns together. So now we've got this, we're really starting with our basic unit. I kind of put it into a processing place. So and add it all sounds very mathematical, but it's actually it's really easy concept to grasp. So I put it into, let's say we put it into the center of 4 other points. So we've got the unit in the middle, and then we've got 4 what I call modifiers. So 4 ways that we can modify this simple core unit. So those 4 modifiers I'm going to look at briefly. The first one will be single or double speed of what we were reciting. The second one would be modulation. The third one is what I like to call a density slider. So we add or subtract notes from our core unit. And the fourth one is to rearrange. So at the moment we've only got 1 unit, so you know you can't really rearrange one unit, but that will come in a little bit when I go to the next stage. So single and double, first of all, this is the simplest starting point. Again, we're not defining it as 1/8 notes or quarter notes or 16th notes or whatever. It's just single and double, or you know, you're starting at 1 speed and then you'll go to double of that speed at whatever speed you start at. You know, so I'm not defining whether it's triplets or 1/8 notes. That will come into the modulation section. So we've got tackita. Tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, ta-ki-ta. So we start a bit slower. Ta-ki-ta, ta-ki-ta, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, tackita, ta. You can go single and double. So the next, and then of course you'll start to go through your you know, your melodic vocalization and playing that on the drums and you know, kind of working out ways to voice that. So the next modifier would be modulation. So let's say we start with our group of 3 as 1/8 notes. Ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta. And so then we're going to modulate into triplets, and then into 16th notes, and then into 16th notes triplets, and then into 32nd notes. So ta ki ta ta, we're in 1/8 notes. Ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki. This is triplets. Ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki. 16th notes. Ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta. Now we're in 16th note triplets. Ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta. Then we're into 32nd notes. So obviously, you know, in the beginning you're not necessarily going to be able to recite it at that speed, but you know, get it at tempo, and maybe just go through from the 1/8 notes to the triplets and back again. So ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta ta ki ta dum ta tak dum tak tak dum tak tak dum tak tak dum tak tak dum tak tak dum tak. So you get the idea that you've got there. I've got the, you know, basic simple pattern that you could play on between 2 tones on the frame drum. So obviously lots of different possibilities there. The next modifier will be the density slider. So we've just got 3 notes here, ta ki ta. So if we imagine that that's in the middle of of where we want to go. So if we go take the slider up, then, you know, we're going to have more notes. And if we take the slider down, we're going to have less notes. So if we take the slider right the way down, then we would have one note for each three. So for each ta-kita, we ta, ta, ta, ta, ta. You just have one note. But for the purpose of this, I'm only going to do variations that have a note on the actual downbeat of the unit itself. So I'm not going to have like a silent note on the beginning of the unit itself. So ta, ta, one note, ta, ta, ka, ta, ka, two notes, ka, ta, ka, ta, ka, or ta, ka, ta, ka, ta. So the first and the third note, or you can have the first and the second note if you've got two notes. So then you would go up. Then you've got takita, you've got all three notes, and then you're taking the slider up further, and then you're going to start to add 16th notes. So if you've got takita, takita, takita, ta, now you're going to add two groups of 16th. Takatum ta, takatum ta, takatum ta, takatum ta. So that group of two can then be moved. So the group of, at the moment, the group of two is on the first ta, ta, ki, ta, ki, ta, takatum, ta, ta, or it could be in the middle, ta, tum, ta, tum, ta, tum, ta, or at the end, ta, tum, takata, tum, takata, tum, takata, tum, takata. Then you can have two units of the 16th notes. Takadina tom, takadina tom, takadina tom. So that's the first and the second of the three with two 16ths, and then the third one with just a single note. Takadina tom, takadina tom. Or then you move it. Tom, takadina tom, takadina tom, taka. So then we've got the two notes, the two 16th notes on the second and the third of the takita, and so on and so forth. You could obviously build it up, fill them all up. There's lots of other options that you can do, and then you would then voice that on your drum, dum, taka taka dum, taka taka dum, with all the different variations. Then you can start to take that into the other two. So you can take that into the single and double idea. Ta, kita taka ta, kita taka ta, kita taka ta, kita taka ta, kita taka ta, kita taka ta, kita taka. Or you could modulate it between, eighth notes, triplets, and different modulation levels. So these are the four. The rearrange I haven't got to yet, because there's another thing that I just want to briefly cover. Obviously, I'm really kind of fast forwarding through this concept. One thing that I find is really, really useful, just as a simple concept, and it comes back from having analysed a lot of the systems, rhythmic systems from around the world, but primarily North and South India, is one of the things that intrigues me is being able to extract pure concepts from that material. So one of the concepts that is really useful and used a lot in both North and South India is to take any time signature and you divide it into two unequal halves. So if you're in 2/4, for example, so you got 8 16th notes, takadina, takadina, takadina, takadina. You could divide that into, say, for example, 3 and 5, or 2 and 6, 1 and 7. So there's different ways you can divide it. Now, the advantage of this system is that whatever time signature you're in, you can use exactly the same concept. So you can build up a whole load of compositional methodology around this, and it will apply to any time signature. So takita, tatikit, so takita again for the 3, tatiginatum for the 5, 3 plus 5. Takita, tatiginatum, takita, tatiginatum. Then that's just with a linear vocalization. Then we go back to you adding the sticking or the hand pattern, right, left, left, right, left, right, right, left. So right, left, left, for example, for the 3, and right, left, right, right, left for the 5 as one option. Dum tac tac dum tac dum tac dum tac tac dum tac dum tac dum tac dum tac dum tac tac dum tac dum tac tac dum tac. So you can start to have patterns that will fit your 3 and your 5, and then you can again, that's then your core unit. There's a new core unit. Your core unit is 3 plus 5. So we're going to put that in the middle of our like little modifying area, and then we can do all of the same things to that as well. So we can do the single and double tempo. We can modulate it. We can use the density slider, so we can add notes or take notes away from it, and then we can also rearrange it. And for me, they're all, you know, useful ways to compose. But for me, one of the key things is the ability to use the options to rearrange, because you've divided a time signature into 2 unequal halves. So it means that you've just got to do the same of each. So if you do one group of 3, you do one group of 5. If you do 2 groups of 3, you do 2 groups of 5. You do 3 groups of 3, you do 3 groups of 5, 4 groups of 3, 4 groups of 5. So it's basically, as long as you keep track of, you know, how many of each group you've done, you know, you're going to come out at least on a downbeat. You know, if you're in 16 beats and you do 3 of each group, then you'll be 1 bar short, or 1 cycle short. But so the idea that you can rearrange this this material. So at the moment, what I'm doing is just doing, you know, 2 of each, and then 3 of each, and 4 of each. But it can be really interesting if you start to get into, you know, different stickings from a snare drum book, for example, like Stick Control, George Lawrence Stone. I've got a book called Symmetrical Stickings for the Snare Drum, which is quite useful for this concept, because they're symmetrical. So you've got exactly the same patterns in the left hand as the right hand for every single example. So then if you take, for example, you take the paradiddle, right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, you can then think of that as form. So we've got a group of 3, and we've got a group of 5. So if you think of that as A and B, what we had before was A, B, and then we had A, A, B, B, and then A, A, A, B, B, B, A, A, A, A, B, B, B, B. But then you can start to use different stickings. So if you think of A, A, B, B, that's kind of the double stroke roll in a way, right, right, left, left. But the paradiddle can create interesting options as well. So right, left, right, right, left, right, left, left, A, B, A, B, A, B, B. So if you have you know, the group of 3 and the group of 5, and you know, takita tatikinatum, so you'd have takita tatikinatum, takita takita tatikinatum, takita tatikinatum ta. So that's just the core kind of platform, but you've immediately got something that's got some unpredictable rhythmic movement in it. So then if you start to think, just we'll keep that linear vocalization, but we'll use the density slider on that pattern. Or in fact, let's do it on the 3 and the 5 first of all. So we'll have the 3 will just be the first of the 3, ta ta takita takita, just the one note, and the tatigenatum will be the full 5 notes. So then we've got ta ta tatikinatum ta tatikinatum 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 ta tatikinatum ta tatikin. So then 2 of the 3 and 2 of the 5, ta tum tatikinatum tatikinatum ta tum tatikinatum tatikinatum. Then 3 of the 3 and 3 of the 5, ta tum dum. Tatikina dum, tatikina dum, tatikina dum, ta dum, dum. Tatikina dum, tatikina dum, tatikina dum. And so as soon as you've got your you know, your platform, that's when you can start to use all of the other stuff, like the, you know, the single and double, the modulation. You can you know, for example, if you da dum, so I'm filling out the fives. Da dum, so then if we do that with the we'll go back to the tatigena tom, but we'll do the paradiddle, the A B A A B A B B. So 3 5 3 3 5 3 5 5. Okay. Da tatigena tom da dum, tatigena tom da. So that's just one cycle of that. So it's a way of using very simple building blocks, and already you can get to some you know, some various developed ideas. And then of course, you know, lots of different possibilities to you know, to orchestrate it on the drum in different ways. And so for me, I think this is a good way to have some simple building blocks that you can build some rhythmic work from. So, you know, to recap, you know, you've got the core unit, and then you've got the syllables, the linear vocalization of it, the single line. Then you're going to have a hand pattern. Then you're going to orchestrate that on the tones of the drum, which we call the melodic vocalization. And then we've got the modifiers, single or double, modulation, density slider, and rearrange. And then of course we've got the you know, the other thing that we added into the mix at the end of that, which was being able to divide a time signature into two unequal halves. And whatever time signature you're in, you can do that. You can divide into two unequal halves. And if you're in, let's say you're in 5/8, and you might think, well, I don't want to add that into, you know, have a group of 3, 16 and whatever, then you would just do it over 5/4. And just one other thing, just to add into the mix here for before I hand it back and we have a bit of a chat, is that this doesn't need to be you know, like a fast moving rhythmic virtuosic thing. These frameworks can be you know, if you did them as quarter notes, then they can be the basis of various rhythms. So if you had, you know, you instead of having, you know, 3/8 3/8 5/8 5/8 or 3/16, 3 groups of 16, 3 groups of 16, 3/16 3/16 5/16 5/16, you can have that as quarter notes or even half notes. Then suddenly you've got really slow, long frameworks on which you can pin rhythms that could go the direction of, for example, Samai or different rhythms that are very you know, common on frame drums and Darabuka and Rick and stuff like that. So I'm gonna hand it back to the Tamburi Monday team, and we'll be able to go to the next stage. And I hope there's some questions and different input as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think I just asked in the chat. There are no questions at the moment, Pete.
Okay. So do you want to move on to the next the section where we have a chat, or?
Yes, maybe we can have a small video because you send us some beautiful videos.
Okay.
And in between we can listen to some music, and you can drink some water also. Okay, here we go. Applause. Wow, yeah, so I had the luck to see you in Freiburg some years ago.
Yep.
So because I already knew you before, Pete Lockett, it's a name everyone knows for sure. But so, and then you were here, and so I was wondering. I mean, as I said, we have so many questions, but maybe you can explain us a little shortly, or how it came that you had this passion to this world drum, world music, and to
Yeah.
this rhythm world. How it started?
Oh, it was an accident, to be honest with you. It was, you know, I was a very late starter with music. I didn't start till I was 19, and I was just walking past a drum shop one day, and there was a little sign in the window: drum lessons, £5. So just randomly, I went in and had a drum lesson, and that was it. You know, I was in Portsmouth at the time. I lived in Portsmouth, born in Portsmouth, and you know, a year later, I've moved to London and was on the path. And the, you know, discovering Indian music was also a completely random event as well. I quite by chance came across a free concert. It was in Alexander Palace in London. You could just walk in, and it was the late great Ali Akbar Khan, sarod player, and the great Zakir Hussain. And I'd never seen anything like that. You know, I was at that time, I was you know, rock, just playing in rock bands and stuff, drum set, and I was blown away. You know, and I made a mental note of it. But you know, that was kind of it, really. But then, like a few weeks later, a free newspaper came through the front door. I lived in Tottenham then, in London, and it had fallen open on the mat, and there was a big advert for tabla lessons. So that's as an accident.
Always I'm not sure if it's really an accident or
Yeah, it's fate or whatever you want to call it, but I like to call it as, you know, it's a calling. It's a calling, really.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's I never met such a if you play, you are so deep inside, and also the passion is so we can see always in the music and when you play.
Thank you.
And also now when the Kanjira piece, that was a composition of you, or
yeah, but it's partly my composition and partly some traditional themes. So a couple of there's quite a few little compositions in there actually, but I would say it's very much along traditional lines, pretty much. But it's been, you know, I've kind of reinvented it, I suppose, that particular composition. But yeah, there's a lot of traditional inspired stuff in there. I mean, that's one of the things about the system, in actual fact, is that you know, a lot of it is transferable between different time signatures and can be reinvented in different time signatures. Like I was saying about the 3 and the 5, you know, a time signature divided into 2 unequal halves. It's the same, you know, that could be 4 and 3 for 7, or 5 and 4 for 9, or whatever. These concepts, and so the concepts and some of the compositions can be kind of transferred between different time signatures. And
yeah. So in general, you play a really composed music, right?
Yeah, it depends. It really depends on what the environment is, and what, you know, it's kind of changing all the time. In my solo stuff, I tend to write a lot of unison solo material. I kind of like that, and playing in unison to stuff that's there, but then also to have areas of improvisation as well. So, you know, it's always difficult to get the balance right, but you know, something I'm always seeking to do, to get the improvisation equally balanced with the set compositions.
Yeah. But let me say or ask you. But your favorite way of playing is more playing compositions or improvising?
I don't have a favorite way, and again, it really depends on the context. Like I've got new project with a keyboard player called Peter John Vitesse. He's a great keyboard player, and a lot of that is almost entirely improvised. So we'll start out and we've no idea what we're gonna do. And if you look back through, I mean, more my not so much my solo work, but my collaborations, which I'm very lucky to have had collaborations with, artists and musicians from all over the world. Obviously a lot from, a lot of Indian collaborations, but, many different collaborations, and they all, they all beg a different thing from you. And I think part of that comes from having done so many sessions in the past and having to be like a chameleon for whoever you're working. It was almost like you go in and you're someone's sound module or something. It's you've got to throw all your attitude out the window and do what is right for that moment. And it's the same for me musically with whatever projects I'm working on, or if it's solo,
And yeah, so when on your website, also on Wikipedia, it's very interesting. If by the way, if you want to go to the speak to the audience, if you want to go to Wikipedia of Pete Lockett, it's amazing. You found so many things what you did, and also all your awards, and it's for the best website and so on. Really very interesting things.
Well, I mean, that's another thing that, I think it's one of the things that I love about, your organization is that you're putting stuff out there and you're making it available for people. And, I think it's laudable and amazing. It's really great. And I really, everyone in the percussion world appreciates what you all do, and I, certainly definitely not alone in that. But for me, like with my website, I had that up about more than 20 years ago now, and it was always just completely free material, free videos, free lessons, free this and that. Even if it's just the little bit that I know, you know what I mean? It's I mean, I'm a baby on the tabla and Indian percussion, so the little bit that I know, I can try and make available without hiding it and pretending that gives me some rights that I'm not entitled to.
Yeah. And also you made many film music also, right?
Yeah, well, I did a lot. I mean, I don't really do sessions anymore because I'm not really, when I do the odd one if it comes in, but I don't stay in touch with people. But yeah, I've done I did 5 of the Bond films and loads and loads of Hollywood films, Moulin Rouge, Incredible Hulk, and loads of different stuff. And obviously all the session work with Peter Gabriel and Bjork and Jeff Beck and Robert Plant and all, loads of, I mean, the ridiculous amount of people. I'm very lucky. It was the time when, when there were, you didn't have to be a computer to be on someone's album.
I mean, but how it came that you, was it also accident? The producer of James Bond was on the street. And...
yeah, I mean, I had it was the David Arnold was the composer that I did 5 of those films with, and actually I'd had a duo with him some time before. And again, that was another thing that was literally completely improvised, 100%. You go on stage, we did the South Bank Centre it's the only gig we did, South Bank Centre in London, completely improvised, nothing, no preparation whatsoever, just totally improvised. And so different things demand different stuff, but a lot of it is, I mean, I suppose the way that you bump into people is random. Obviously, once you've done a few sessions, the word gets around. It's one of those chicken and egg things. If you haven't had a big name on your CV, it's hard to get one. But once you've got one, it's almost like you get some magic token or something to do sessions. It certainly was in London anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got to come up with the goods. I mean, you can't. there's loads of funny stories that I know about percussionists who got sacked off of sessions and stuff like that. So I mean, you have to come up with the goods, and especially as a, I mean, I would always go in as a soloist. I was never a sort of orchestral sort of going with the orchestra or going with a band, and not because I didn't want to, but just it wasn't my vision of what I wanted to do. I had a very clear idea that at least what I did in sessions, maybe not in the very beginning, but certainly after a few years, what I did in sessions had to have some relevance to what I did, you know, compositionally and in my solo project. And I was very lucky in that kind of all along that period of developing as a session player, I was also developing with my collaborations. Like I had the quintet with Bill Bruford, that was one of the early ones. Taiko to Tabla with Joji Hirota, he's a great master Japanese drummer and shakuhachi player. Again, very, very improvised project that was. So yeah, I was lucky to have that alongside. And when you're sort of releasing CDs and you can take them to, you know, the people that you're working with, actually they get a little bit more interested in what you can offer. You know, they kind of see you slightly differently, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And maybe one question to your instruments, because you are really playing a lot of instruments, and also frame drums among all these. But you have a I mean, we saw the kanjira. So what means the kanjira for you? I mean, what is the taste for you when you play the kanjira? What is the special?
You know what, it's an interesting instrument, you know, because I mean, when I first started to play the tabla, you know, it's like everything about playing the tabla, what, you know, I mean, I didn't know anything about Indian culture. You know, Portsmouth, there's not a big wasn't a big Indian community. I didn't know anything about the music. I didn't know, you know, that's complete, total zero knowledge. And in a way, it's kind of a good way to start learning something, because it keeps you, you know, you got a kind of pretty much open, creative mind with it. And initially, my idea was that I was going to complement my drum set playing with the Indian ideas, but then I couldn't see any way to integrate the two. You know, with the tabla, you play, you know, the high drum with the right hand and the you know, the bass drum with the left hand, and the compositions and the way the music works and the role of tabla within the music and all of those things meant that it was very hard to conceptualize anything outside of the music that the rhythms and the drums were found in. It was some while later that I studied South Indian Carnatic music, and mainly Mridangam and Natwangam, which is the vocal percussion that you hear with Bharatanatyam dance. They have some little bells, different, you know, syllables like that, with these little bells. And then that's when I got into the kanjira. And the kanjira, it was interesting for me because on the one side of the coin, you can do, you know, the South Indian compositions and stuff like that. But on the other side of the coin, you can approach it, because you can voice it a little bit like drum set, a bit like you can with cajon, for example. And so it was a really interesting bridge between being able to use that in you know, non-Indian music and find a vocabulary for the drum set. And that's why, you know, I've just released a book last year, which is it's interesting you asked about the kanjira, because it kind of brings me to that. The idea was to release this book that was a way for people to contemporary and not, you know, musicians who might not be getting into the whole, you know, Carnatic music rhythm side of it, to actually learn the basics of the drum in the way of a Western drum book. So it's actually, that book is a really good entry point for, and it's a good, I mean, it's good if you want to play kanjira in I don't know, Middle Eastern music or rock and pop or whatever, you know, you can voice it because you've got the drum set voicings, but it's also a kind of good entry point into the classical world as well. So I've kind of designed it to go to a fork in the road, and then, you know, the user will decide which way they want to go once they got there. don't crash into the middle.
So this is the new book, right? Your new book.
No, that was a book a couple of books ago. I also released and that's why I was interested watching your independence on the frame drums, because I've got a new book, Alphabet of Independence, that came out about 6 months ago. And again, you know, from the very beginnings of independence, you know, 1-4, you know, units and just building up, and then finally building up to, you know, having the feet involved as well. So I'll you know, do check that out, because it's, I think, for the frame drums. Yes. And the other thing that I do, because I'm kind of thinking of how to build bridges between you know, I'm a percussionist, you know, I don't really identify myself as a drum set player, but it was my first instrument and I do play it now again. So percussion and drum set, and how can you build bridges between those worlds? And that's, you know, for me, like the Independence book, it starts out, you know, with independence just between two voices. And then one of the, say, for example, it's the ride cymbal and the snare drum, for example. So then you split the right hand out into two voices, like you were doing with the left hand with the, you know, the open tone and the closed tone on the large mounted frame drum. Yeah. So then you could split the right hand. All the patterns then go between the bell and the or two voices. I don't actually identify it as the bell and the body of the cymbal. I just say two voices. And then the left hand does. So you've got patterns that are going between two voices. And then you do the same for the left hand. So in terms of snare drum, I've notated it so to begin with, it's the small tom and the snare drum. So then you kind of got four patterns going at once, you know, and then you kind of get the feet involved in it. But it's from the very beginning. It's from, you know, simply starting out with, you know, the basic possibilities of a quarter note. So you can have, you know, if you've got one note, there's 4 places. You know, if you've got 2 notes, there's X amount of places, 3 notes. And then, so you've got those, I forget how many variations it is, like 16 or 17, I can't remember. But then you split that out. So the right hand plays example 1 throughout, and the left hand plays example 1 to example 17. And then the right hand plays example 2, and the left hand plays 1 to 17, and so on and so forth. So it's building it up from the absolute seed of the idea of independence between the voices of whatever you're playing. Yeah.
Well, interesting. I have to check.
Yeah.
So there are questions in the chat. I just received 2. So one question is, playing so many different hand styles, how do you keep in shape on all the instruments?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And actually it is something that gets asked quite often, because what you imagine is that if you play, let's say, you know, I don't know, however hours you play on frame drum practicing, you know, let's say it's 4 hours in a day or whatever it is, 1 hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is. You'd imagine then if you play frame drum and canjira, you got to practice for 8 hours. And then if you play tabla, then you got to practice for 12 hours. And then if you add Darabuka in, then suddenly you're at 16 hours. And before you know it, you've run out of time in the day. But it doesn't work like that in the strangest of ways. I mean, obviously, you've got to do your bodybuilding with the instruments in the first place. You know, when I learned the tabla, you know, I used to have 4 4-hour lessons a week. And then I would just practice all the time. I didn't work, I didn't do anything. I just did that, just practice the tabla all the time, and you know, had loads of lessons. So you do your bodybuilding. I'm not saying you have to do that much, but once you've got what I tend to say to people is, you get an instrument under your belt for a year. Let's say Darabuka, for example. So you nail that for a year. So you're really solid on hand positions, on tone, on what the long-term ambitions for you on the instrument are, and for how you feel you can develop your technique. So then you take on canjira. So then maybe you're away from the Darabuka more than you would have been because you're learning the Kanjira. Certainly in the beginning, you've got a new workload. You've got a whole, it's like learning a new language. You've got a whole load of stuff that you need to get down. Now, the interesting thing is, that's how it worked for me, and it's how it's worked for my students as well, is that when you go back to the Darabuka, it's still there. I mean, maybe in the beginning, maybe not after a year, you need a little bit of, work to get back into it. But it's really funny because I go through phases of, like at the moment, I'm trying to get together a lot more, like snapping on frame drums. I'm rubbish at that, all these different things that I want to try and develop about different instruments. So I've spent quite a lot of time on lap style on the frame drum, like 14 inch kind of bendir basically. And you think, well, I go to the tabla and it's going to be, totally not happening at all. But it feels, for some reason, it feels more oiled than it did when I was practicing all the time. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. And I think what it is that whatever instrument you're practicing is, or playing, performing on, doing whatever, is that you're exercising your mind, your hand to mind relationship, and all that involves. And I think that's a big part of the problem. And I know it's a slightly complicated way to answer the question, but I think that's a big part of it. But what you have to get together in the first place is that the first instrument has to be solid before you move on to a second one. And I'd even say that, if people are learning, maybe not so much, but Rick and frame drum and Dumbek and, all of those things at once, I mean, there are a lot of similarities with some of the rhythms and some of the applications. So maybe not such an example, but I think certainly with Rick, with what you've got to get together with the soft position and the loud position and all that, I think that's definitely a big thing to bring on board. That's very different technically from frame drum or Darabuka.
Yes, definitely. That's totally, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I made the same experience as you said. And so there are two more questions. So the one is the basics you have explained now. Are they also in your drum book?
No, they're not actually. This is the basis of a new book that I've just started to write. Yeah. Which has actually come out of this. I put those ideas together. I mean, some of it comes out of my teaching, but that concept I framed in that particular way for this for this broadcast.
Yeah. And do you think that the lessons in the book could be also useful for frame drummers?
Which book? The Kanjira book?
Good. There is no specification. I think it's only written the book.
Okay. Well, I guess they probably mean the Kanjira book, because that's what I was talking about. I mean, the difference with Kanjira, that, I mean, to a point, obviously, a lot more frame drummers are using the split hand technique, and also some players doing really cool split hand technique on the Rick as well. And so the fact that it's one hand is, I mean, if you wanted to learn Kanjira, of course, if you're a frame drummer and you want to learn Kanjira, then of course that works. But the for direct application, I mean, rhythmically, maybe, but it's one hand, so there's nothing really. There's no real. No, is the answer.
Well, I'm using this independent way of playing with this left hand, playing ostinato, and with the right hand I use
true, actually,
a lot of Kanjira stuff I learned, so that is useful maybe for.
No, you're right. In that instance, then for that, I was just thinking of literally of one frame drum. But yeah, if you've got two frame drums, then there's definite application for that.
Yeah.
For the hand patterns and all that. yeah, so definitely.
Yeah, so before we continue and before we talk about your actual program, maybe we can have one video in between.
Great.
Yes, great.
Superb.
So that yeah, that was just a short video, and of course we put in the YouTube channel, we put the link, so if anyone is interested, you can watch the whole the piece. That was from your solo concert, Pete, in Freistadt, TAMBURI MONDAY.
Yeah, what a great weekend that was, and to play with obviously to meet all you folks for the first time, and then to play for the great audience, and then to play with Zohar was amazing. I mean, he's one of my favorite percussionists on the planet, to be honest. I mean, as I would say, for me, the top three have been Jacek was saying, because I mean, not only is he a master tabla player, but he's super musical, and able to play tabla in many different environments. The late great Harry Shankar, the Kanjira player, who's literally beamed down from outer space, and Zohar as well. Zohar is just superb, spiritually and technically, and everything about him is I'm an English geezer with tattoos, so Zohar's a little bit more sort of priestly, I would say, in a positive way, full of admiration for him.
Yeah, and you played his composition, right? In the duo.
Indeed, yeah. We only had 15 minutes because of the not the scheduling, but because we'd both been doing different things, we didn't get a chance to rehearse. So we had 15 minutes in one of the rooms to put it together. So that was yeah. In fact, I've just had a similar experience because I was doing the PASIC conference, which is a big American conference, music percussion, kind of percussion festival, percussion conference in America, and I was doing a duo with Thomas Lang, who's an amazing Austrian drum set player, like super technical player, really great musician. And the original idea was that I'd go over to LA, spend a week, we'd rehearse because the material was, you know, similar, not similar to that, but it's complex like that. And then when we go to PASIC and then we do the thing, but it didn't work out like that because of the travel ban. So I couldn't go until 2 days before. So for the whole gig, to rehearse the hour of material, we had 1 hour in the hotel room on pillows. So and even the sound check we couldn't play together because there wasn't enough time. So that was a more of a roast, I think.
Wow.
It went well.
It went well. Wow. Magic.
It was magic. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah. So now maybe we can talk a little bit about your projects that is going now or in the future also. So
Yeah.
You mentioned the new Kanjira book, and also there will be some volumes that will come out, right? 5 volumes or?
Of the Kanjira book.
Yeah.
No, I think that's it for now with that one. But the Independence book. I'm writing another book with Steve Smith, the drummer. That's probably going to come out next year, probably towards the end of next year, I think. So I'm pretty excited about that. One of the important things for me is to build bridges between you know, lots of different areas. I did a lot of touring with the it was a while ago now, but I did a lot of tours with besides my you know, collaborations that I'd put together. The British Council used to take me around the world, and I'd put together a group of musicians from England, people who have come and lived in England from overseas and stuff like that. So I might take, you know, a Ghanaian musician or you know, different, to Joji, the Japanese player. And we'd go to a country, you'd spend a week rehearsing. It was always with folk musicians. I never wanted to do it with, you know, not judgmentally. I didn't want to do it with bass and drums, and, you know, I wanted it to be with folk musicians. So we'd spend a week rehearsing and then tour the country, or at least do a few gigs in the locality of the capital. And I was very lucky, you know, I did it Sudan and Azerbaijan and Thailand, India, Pakistan, Nepal, all over the world. So I was really lucky in that sense to be able to do that. And it, you know, became, you know, that, and the fact that I've learned so many musical traditions from different places in the world, you know, it's so I've done it internally, if you like, become like a hybrid, you know, influenced, you know, the Indian influences, the Middle Eastern, and the Cuban influences, the Japanese, and on all this sort of thing. So it also then externally, you know, with putting unlikely collaborations together, you know, so that even the thing with Thomas is known, you know, for he's a very well booked metal drummer. So the idea of, you know, we did a drum set, and one of the pieces was a drum set and tabla duo, like specifically composed. And he played it, you know, a lot of the tabla patterns, you know, the 30s, he was like playing it with his feet. And so it was ridiculous, actually. But I love that. I love the fact that it's bringing these different things together and repackaging them, putting them out there, and making people think, you know, everything can work.
Yeah. That's very interesting. And of course, rhythm and percussion is always has this connecting power,
Yeah.
this connecting energy. And another thing that I wrote is about your brushes, the brushes project. Maybe you can talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, I got this. Maybe I can get them actually. Now, if I'd have been prepared, I'd have had them out ready. But they're called remix brushes. I noticed you were using some brushes earlier. So what it is they're these, they're very flat profile for a start. They're quite organic. There's 4 different grades. So this is a softer grass. There's another slightly firmer grass. There's birch, and there's rattan. And the idea is, as you can see, it's quite flat. So in terms of like for frame drum, if you're coming down the front of the frame drum, the profile is pretty flat, which means you can get just the brush sound, or you can come and get a little bit of the body of the brush as well. So that was one of my considerations, the Vic Firth remix brushes. But the main point of it is that you put them together. So say, for example, you've got a soft, like with the brooms, for example, I mean, those ones that you were using were pretty big, but some of the ones that you buy over the counter, the rounder ones, it's fine. You play them on the snare drum, or you play them on frame drums and stuff like that, it's fine. It sounds a great sound. But as soon as you go to hi-hat or ride cymbal, you can't hear any definition. There's no definition. So my idea was that that you'd put these different ones together. So here's one that I've put together. So on this side, you got the soft grass. On this side, you got the harder birch. So the idea is, first of all, that if you're playing softly, you just get the grass sound, but then you've got a little bit more attack with the birch behind it, but then you flip it over and you've got a lot more. So that then you can get definition from ride cymbals and stuff like that. So they kind of go together with these little rings. But yeah, I mean, Vic Firth went for the idea. They loved the idea, and I was very pleased, because at the NAMM show just before the world went off the rails, they got percussion product of the show at the NAMM show for that was 2020, January 2020, yeah. And so but it's great. But one of the points of it is that I wanted it to be for percussionists. I mean, I've been making these for years out of bathroom blinds and different things, and using them in sessions mainly, actually. But I wanted it to be for percussionists or drummers, or across again, mixing, trying to have something that will work across many different areas.
Yeah, so we will write it also in the channel. So
right. Available at a superstore near you. But actually, honestly, I will say it, for me, they're very gentle, particularly if you're playing lap style and the brush comes over the top, yeah, onto the face of the drum, because it's flat like that. It's really cool, really, really cool.
Oh, I can imagine. Also, many students, we always, brush is something you can discuss, but that's a good idea with this flat brush. You can use the fingers on the brush, and then,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't try, but I think I will order. So I will order you a book. I will brushes. I mean, Christmas is over, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
It would be better we met in November, Pete. So, but next time, for next, yeah. And also I will order your Bandcamp music. This is another thing.
Brilliant. Yeah, I just started to put it, because just started a new Bandcamp page. I've put not all my albums, but I've put a lot of them. There's about 18 up there at the moment. Just to sell direct, it's makes sense. And I think that, as artists, I think we should all, I'm surprised at how few musicians are on Bandcamp, because it's the easiest, the most direct way to sell, direct from the artist, to buy direct from the artist. And a lot of musicians aren't on it at all. And it's amazing, but there's lots of posts moaning about Spotify and streaming, for 0.0001 pence per stream and stuff like that. but they're not on Bandcamp, and they're not. Without CDs, you know, how can you sell direct? You know, you can have like some specialist vinyl options, or, you know, some few different things like that. But I think more people need to get into the Bandcamp thing, because I think it's a great way to support each other in the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so people can find your Bandcamp on internet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have some new recordings or some new music there?
Yeah, there's a few. I released 3 archive recordings. One of them was the collaboration from Azerbaijan, actually, which was a few years ago now. A few archived, few older archive recordings, collaborations and stuff like that on another release. And then I've got one that's I don't know if you've heard of the ATV A-frame. It's an electronic kind of frame drum. Have you heard of that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's such a cool drum, and you know, because you can play it, it's as responsive as a natural skin, the way that you play it, and it's just got, you know, crazy and interesting sounds in it. It's the only electronic drum that that I've ever wanted to include in my setup, and so I've done a whole album on it.
Wow.
Only that and a looper.
Wow, great. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I said before, we can talk a lot, many things. Maybe just if one question, maybe if there is no question in the chat, I can ask you one question. So you know, we are another generation, and you know, there is another younger generation, and
yeah.
And the question is the motivation to make music, to start to go this path.
Yeah.
So because I think in your time, in my time, that was another. Even we did some, maybe in some fields, some kind of pioneers work. So there was it was somehow easier, or there was a motivation, or
yeah.
But is there something you would like to give the younger musicians?
Yeah.
To say, okay, this is your path. You have to.
Yeah.
Follow.
Well, it's funny, because if you'd have asked me that 2 years ago, I'd probably given a totally different answer. And you know, because of you know, what we have been through and continue to go through at the moment, it's highlighted a very important thing for me, which is why I don't really do many performances, and I mean, this is a different type of thing, but I don't really do many performances and stuff like that online, or, you know, live streaming. I did one live stream thing, and what I've realized is, and I've noticed it more, especially going off, I didn't do any live events. The first live events that I did were, I did Portugal in October, a drum festival in Portugal, and then I did the PASIC drum festival in November, and got COVID as well from it. But anyway, that's another story. It wasn't, you know, luckily it wasn't too serious, and it's, you know, it's a very serious thing. But you know, what I've realized is, you know, and I kind of partly analyzed it probably after a year of the situation, was that, you know, for me, it's like having, you've got a great big meal, you know, you're there, you've got a great big meal, you've got all the side dishes, then you've got the main, like Christmas dinner or something, you know, New Year's dinner, you got Thanksgiving, you got the big, you know, main course in the middle of the table, and then, you know, just crackers and pickle and stuff around. For me, without live performance, it's just the crackers and the pickle, even though they're great. And, you know, I like doing stuff in the studio, and I, you know, I've got my app, Drum Jam app, and, you know, I enjoy writing the books and stuff like that. But the passion, and it became really super evident to me on a couple of things, actually. First of all, doing these 2 performances was just made me think, it's just, you're in a different zone. There's something different. You're beamed into a different you know, a different universe or a different level of existence in performance with people in the audience, that cyclic energy that unless they're throwing tomatoes at you, of course, and then that's not so good. But no, generally speaking, you know, there's that cycle, that energy cycle that almost generates, it powers this like steam for the music. And it was funny because on the A-Frame album, and I was listening to it the other night, my wife's a great pianist, classical pianist, and she's in a heavy metal band as well, as you would be, you know, if you're trained at Cambridge as a pianist, of course you're going to be in a heavy metal band as well, you know. So anyway, we're listening through to the A-Frame album, and the A-Frame album is five kind of studio tracks, or what you'd call sterile recording environment tracks, and there's 4 live tracks. And you know, I'm happy with the studio ones. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, you know, they're no good, but the 4 live ones come after the studio ones. And she pointed out, she said there's you can't put it into words, but there's something in the live ones that is not in the studio ones. There's something there, you know, and I don't know what that thing is, but in terms of motivation, that's why I play music, for that feeling and for the connection with an audience, or with the you know, with the people that you're collaborating with, and that whole energy cycle that actually doesn't have any words. I mean, people will call it, you know, spirituality or this or that, you know, but like, for me, it doesn't need words because I know what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's true. It's evident. Yes, thank you, Pete.
Well, great pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
So if there is no question, we prepared one last video. Maybe we can share this video, and it is from, yeah, I think ismi neydi? Okay, that's your latest work, I think, with it's a percussion composition. Mind the Gap. Sorry.
Mind the Gap. Yeah. And just to say thanks to everyone, you know, it was a thanks to all of you folks for having me on and being there, and for everything that you do, and for everyone that's tuned in. You know, it's an honor to chat with you all.
By the way, I remember you have contact with the Norwegian group Sisu, right?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
With Thomas. And
yeah. We're planning.
You're planning, yeah, because we have also contact with Thomas, with Tamburi Mundi, and they performed several times here. And he just
that's where I met him, of course, or met them. I'm sure.
Okay.
They were on the year that I was on, of course.
Maybe, yeah. So, and there was an idea maybe to have a collaboration with you and with Sisu and present maybe at Tamburi Mundi. Who knows? Maybe.
Love to, absolutely love to, for sure, 100%.
Great. Okay, so Mind the Gap. Yo. Great. Thank you, Pete. Thank you again.
Thanks for having me. Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. Yes, and also the audience. Thank you for joining us. Have a beautiful new year. And also, I invite here my team. We are a small team here, a family team. And the Tamburi Monday channel team here is Malika and Yashar. And again, thank you. And
Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.